The forests of the San Francisco Peninsula are as diverse and thriving as the cities they border.
We're one of very few biological hotspots in the entire world.
But for the past 3 decades, sudden oak death has been quietly killing trees by the tens of millions.
It started probably the worst epidemic of the last century in terms of number of trees that it has killed.
And now there's a new lineage of the disease that puts our forests at an even greater risk and requires all of us to do what we can to save the forests we cherish.
I think there's an intrinsic worth to the ecosystems. I think just the fact that they exist and are here means they're worthy of protecting.
When I think of the classic California landscape, I picture oak-dotted hillsides and the smell of bay laurel trees. Well, those species and many others are severely impacted by sudden oak death. But we don't have to feel helpless in the face of this deadly disease. We, the public, can do something about it. And here on the San Francisco Peninsula, the community is doing just that. On a warm morning in May at MidPenn's headquarters, volunteers and MidPenn staff gather for a training on how to become community scientists.
We'll begin with a brief overview of what sudden oak death, or SOD, is.
This is the 25th Sudden Oak Death Blitz, an annual event where volunteers help track the disease that's devastating our oak woodlands and has already killed nearly 60 million trees.
The oaks are a terminal host for the disease, meaning they are affected by it, but they don't spread it.
Ariana Campanuri is leading this event, teaching participants, including myself, how to identify symptoms and preparing us for field work.
Thumbs up if you have your route. Okay.
I see sudden oak death when I'm out hiking, and I thought it would be interesting to map where it is.
It makes you feel hopeful. It makes you, feel like you've done something. Even if in the long scheme of things, it won't like move a mountain. It'll make a tiny bit of effort to get there at some point.
So we are going to the Pichetti Ranch in the afternoon. Yeah. So it's our first time. I've never been there before. So in a way, it's like getting to know a new preserve as well.
It's wonderful to see so many folks spend their weekends working on forest pathogens with us. I know there are so many things you could do on a weekend, and the fact that people showed up at 9 a.m. on a Saturday to learn about sudden oak death is really heartwarming, and it gives me a lot of hope.
This weekend, volunteers and staff will fan out across MidPenn preserves, combing through forests to collect plant samples from potentially infected trees.
The data is incredibly valuable. In fact, last year, a new lineage of the pathogen was detected through the community science work. So the data is really helpful. It helps us understand where SOD is, where it isn't, and where it's spreading.
This new lineage is called NA2, and its dramatic discovery during the 2024 Blitz signaled the arrival of a deadlier and more aggressive pathogen that can spread in warmer weather, making it a major concern with our changing climate. It's rekindled many of the fears from the original discovery of NA1 back in 1994.
My first reaction when I first heard about it is like, wow, this has a chance to just be devastating. This is a really small organism, and here it is taking out these trees that can live hundreds of years old. And this little tiny pathogen can come along and be devastating to an area.
Over the years, MidPenn has been successful in slowing the spread of this disease. But with the presence of this new lineage, there's an even greater urgency to community science events like this one.
This preserve is one huge forest.
We joined volunteers Adita and our daughter Flora, and MidPenn's senior vegetation ecologist Cody and his son Taven, as they go hunting for signs of sudden oak death in El Corte de Madera Creek Preserve.
Yeah, so we're entering into the forested environment. We got some amazing Doug firs in here, some pine trees. So we got some bay laurel here just onto our right, a pretty large specimen actually.
We're looking for bay laurel and tan oak trees, two species that most easily spread the disease.
So here we see the bay laurel leaves, right? And if we remember right, on the bay laurel, it's the symptoms of sudden oak death are gonna be at the tips of the leaves. So you can see, like that one, yeah.
The telltale signs of infection of bay laurel leaves are dead tips bordered by a black line, followed by a yellow halo.
So this is a perfect example right here of sudden oak death symptoms.
We're barely 100 yards down the trail, and already we found a likely infection.
Thought we wouldn't get any.
You thought we wouldn't get any?
Yeah.
But we found it almost right away, yeah. Now that we have this one data point, it tells us that it's present here. But now we need to figure out how present is it? Is it widespread already, or is there something we can do management-wise to try to contain that?
It's important to me to expose her to the nature and teaching her from the young age how we take care of our environment and our ecosystems, and then learning from the experts so we can see how the process is done. So she has like hands-on experiences. How
That's what she's all about.
they're going to inherit this problem from us, and hopefully they'll be much better at this than we are to find hopefully there is a solution.
With over 70,000 acres, volunteers are critical to monitoring the spread of sudden oak death throughout Mid-Penn preserves.
Having these volunteers come out is just paramount and is a true testament to citizen science, actually, and to community science, to allow us to make better informed decisions on how we take care and restore the natural environment.
When we come back, we head to UC Berkeley, where scientists test our samples for sudden oak death, and we bask in the beauty of our local forests. Over a weekend in late May, volunteers fanned out across Mid-Penn preserves to collect samples of tree leaves to help track the spread of sudden oak death.
So this is a perfect example right here of sudden oak death.
The samples were sent to UC Berkeley for testing, where Dr. Matteo Garbarlato's forest pathology lab first identified the pathogen.
I mean, sudden oak death it's been an environmental disaster, there is no doubt. I mean, I think there's over 60 million oaks have been killed already, and we know we have more than 100 million trees infected.
Understanding the scale of the threat and our limited resources to combat it, Dr. Garbarlato created this community science effort, which recently led to the discovery of a new lineage of the pathogen.
So what we're really worried is that when you have, two pathogens that are a little bit different, they each kill trees here, and then the other one kills trees there, and together they kill a lot more trees. So that's kind of our main concern.
Matteo's lab is the nerve center for tracking this disease statewide, processing samples from volunteers across California, including the ones we collected on the San Francisco Peninsula.
We process samples from about 1,600 trees a year, and I myself have processed hundreds.
Because what you see inside is the clear eluted DNA.
They're using PCR testing, the same genetic technology that became all too familiar during COVID. This lab was pioneering it for trees years before the pandemic hit.
These vials contained the living cultures, preserved cultures of Phytophthora here in California. So every one of these in here represents a collection somewhere in California of Phytophtheras. It's like a worldwide collection of incredible samples.
Some of the samples we collected will join this vast genetic library, a collection that could hold the key to the future of California's forests.
As soon as we have analyzed the samples, the results are placed on a map, and you can see in your own neighborhood to tell you whether the tree had sudden oak death or didn't have sudden oak death.
Whether or not our samples come back positive for sudden oak death, this epidemic has become very real, and its management even more urgent if we hope to save the oak woodlands we cherish.
We can actually come out on top this one. And believe me, I mean, don't misunderstand it. California will look different, but I think we still have our tree species. It's not going to be the same as now, but we're not going to lose them, I think. If we do something proactively, if we just let it run without management, then the chances that we're going to lose a big swath of our trees are much, much higher.